Good evening. Yes.
Good evening, Angie. Thank you very much for joining my show.
No, pleasure's all mine.
It is a great honor to have you here again. So, how have you
thank
been
you.
anyway?
It has been very good.
Yeah.
We have expanded our reach mainly to the Middle East and also into North Asia.
Okay.
But some of the main challenge right now that we face is to communicate the new technologies, both in the field of stem cell treatment,
Yeah.
as well as cancer treatment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned at the moment about the cancer treatment as well.
Yes.
Well, this is our main topic, and I'm
Okay.
sure our viewers want to know how to treat cancer. Because previously, even me, before phone call with you, I thought that the person who got cancer will surely die, but now, no, right?
Cancer treatment has traditionally been been done through the use of chemotherapy as well as radiotherapy. If you had visited a oncology or a cancer conference, you would have noticed that a lot of the cases that come in late are hopeless. They tend to not make it. Yeah.
You mean like not the early stage can be cured,
Yes.
but the later
stage tend not to
cannot.
be possible.
Okay.
And even if it is possible, the cancer will come back very quickly. Sometimes in months, sometimes in 2 or 3 years, it will come back.
Okay.
So what happens right now is that the cell technologies appeared originally in 1890. That's right, 1890.
Okay.
And the chemo industry actually shut it down in 1960. So most of the doctors today are not aware of cells to treat cancer.
Okay.
The bulk of the research today is done in the United States and in the big universities like Harvard University, a big cancer research center like Sloan Kettering. And what happened is that they are now taking cases that has 0% chance to give them 90 to 93% chance. So that means that what current technology considers untreatable is completely treatable.
With the
cell
cell
correct,
technology. I just want to make sure that the cell technology was found in
1890. The
Okay.
first use is in 1890. What we do is that we re-engineer the cell. That means we change the shape of the cell and the ability of the cell. Once we have changed that, re-engineered the cell, then we grow it back and we give it back to the patient in numbers like 10 billion, 40 billion, 80 billion.
Of cells.
Yes, huge amounts. These are the soldiers that destroy, like what you saw on the screen just now, destroy the cancer.
But where we get the cells?
Basically, we get it from,
Other
the olden days is get it from the patient themselves. But what we discovered was that it is better to get it from a donor. That means a non-cancer patient. We take it from them, young patients, we modify the cell, and we put it back into the patient. Yes.
Okay. So the amount of our cells is 10 billion.
10 billion, 40 billion,
Okay.
80 billion, large numbers.
Large number. Angie, I got the question for this, like the figure. Why is the number is different from one patient to another patient?
Because it depends on the size of the tumor,
Tumor, what is
the cancer tissue.
Okay.
If those are very small, for example, inside the brain
Okay.
or early stage cancer, 10 billion will do the job. But in some cases where they have spread to different parts of the body and the growth is big, you would need more cell to basically clean out the cancer.
And this is what you call like cycles of the cancers, right?
We basically, depending on the stage of the cancer,
Okay.
early stage or late stage.
Okay.
Normally, the late stage is not curable. The early stage is using chemo. So what we do is that we normally handle the incurable, the late stage. Sometimes there are cancer that is sitting in the brain
Okay.
and surgery cannot reach it. You do not want to touch the brain.
Yeah.
Very sensitive. These are very good for things like that because it does not touch the good tissue, they just destroy the damaged tissue. As you also notice that these are cells and it moves inside the body. It search, it look out for the cancer, and he'll find it wherever it hides inside the body, and it'll destroy it.
So it means like for one patient that got a cancer, it can be any part of the body, right?
Technically correct.
Okay.
Different kinds of cancer have different reactions.
And for the cell technology, you just inject it, and then the cells will find the cancer cell.
Correct.
Ah, I see.
So if you look at chemotherapy, it will destroy the good cell and the bad cell.
Both.
Here, only the bad cell is destroyed. So it is very selective, very targeted. So if you imagine a patient that has undergone very heavy chemotherapy, the bone marrow is destroyed. And when the bone marrow dies, the patient's immune system also get destroyed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this basically takes the place of the immune system. If you don't have immune system and they cure your cancer, it will come back because there is nothing left in the body to fight the cancer,
I see.
the leftover, the cancer. So we are not saying that don't use chemotherapy.
Oh,
The chemotherapy is used for
Still
the
need
early
it.
stage,
okay.
or sometimes we use it to prime the cancer. Prime means to soften the cancer.
Okay.
Sometimes you use it. But for the late stage where we know the chemotherapy will not work, then this is where the cell is especially good. Yeah. The question that is usually asked is, so who invented all of this now? They want
Yeah.
to know, where do you get the idea from?
The cell technology.
The cell technology.
Yeah.
We are not Superman. We are not clever like that.
But you are clever because no.
We basically study the work done at Harvard, at some of the top cancer centers in United States, like Sloan Kettering.
Okay.
And they have already published the result. They already say that the success rate is 93% or 90% for hopeless case cancers. All we do is we take their work, we use the same technique,
Yeah.
buy the same material from the US, buy the same equipment from the US,
Okay.
everything we import. And then we need to do that because we want to see the same result. So we could do that. And the reason why we want to do it is because if they were to do it in the United States, it will cost them $1 million.
Wow.
If we do it in our labs, in the hospitals in Malaysia, it will cost about the same price as chemotherapy. So it becomes affordable.
How much should it be like?
So the
Approximately.
early stage could be maybe 10, 15,000, 10,000 to maybe 20 to 40,000. So it depends what stage you are at.
Okay. 10 to 40,000. Huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The doctors in Cambodia can easily read up about this by just key in the two words. One is natural killer
Natural
or
killer.
NK cell, or CAR T cell, C-A-R-T, C-A-R-T. Yeah, it's called chimeric antigen receptor T cells. Yeah,
okay.
they just have to key that in, and there'll be thousands of articles, thousands of reports, thousands of research papers inside there. It's all published. There's nothing special about it.
I see. Because it was invented since like
Oh,
1890,
long
right? Quite a
time.
long time ago,
Long
but we just
time.
like take it into practice.
No, because what happened was that in about 1960, the pharmaceutical industry took it out of the medical books. So the doctors today would probably have never heard about it. They have
Because
never.
why? What is the reason behind this? Like business purpose or something?
I don't want to. I don't want to
Okay,
fully
fine.
explain
Yeah,
how
fine.
that works.
But I know the reason behind the scene
Yeah.
already.
So, so basically, what happens is that when you take it out of the medical books,
No
the
one
current
knows.
batch of doctors would not know.
Yeah.
But things like names like Coley's, names like Chekhov's, back in 1890s, they are quite famous in those days.
And it's still got like things like this, like the cell technology.
There's a long story behind it, but basically they found it by accident like everything else. It's an accidental discovery.
Okay. This is a good news for all the patients who got cancer.
And they should not worry so much.
Yeah, they should not. And how long does it take for the treatment?
It depends. If you have a brain tumor, for example, it will take about 5 weeks.
Brain cancers, just only 5 weeks, huh?
Yes, it will remove the cancer from the brain.
Wow.
If
It's not that long.
It's still quite a long time.
Comparing to the chemotherapy, how long should it take?
Chemotherapy, normally they have to do surgery first.
Oh.
And then depending on how many sites there are, there might be a need for radiotherapy and then a chemotherapy. So it is it is a complicated process. Yeah, they would talk, you have to go into a neurosurgery, and then you have to go into the radiology, you have to go into the oncology, and it's a whole team, and it is very, very expensive.
I see, I see. But for cell technology, just only 5 weeks, and then you're done.
Correct, you're done. Correct. That will take long time would be cancer that has spread to the lymph node. That will lymph node. That means these are the another channel network that is in our body. Typically starts at the armpit, and that actually will take about.
It can be right or left, right?
Yeah,
Both.
Most ladies who actually have breast cancer would actually have spread, and the first point that it hits is the lymph node. So when you do a surgery, you have to remove the breast as well as the lymph system. But the lymph node will take about 3 months to clear.
Okay. So, but the hope of the treatment is 100% sure.
For a patient that has got no hope,
Yeah,
every 1%,
it counts.
it counts, correct. So if you have 70% is a lot, 90% is really a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But there is a chance that they can get back the cancer or whatever.
If we catch it and give the NK cell a chance to clean it out, then the risk of it coming back becomes very slim, very unlikely. Yeah.
This is the real
This is
cells.
life. This is life.
Oh.
This is real. This is what happens in the body.
ចា នេះគឺជាអ្វីដែលកើតឡើងនៅក្នុងខ្លួនយើងណាទស្សនិកជនពាក់ព័ន្ធទៅនឹងរឿងកោសិការឿងអីហ្នឹងហើយ this patient got their stem cell got the cell
NK cell.
technology. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Natural
This
killer.
one is in the lab. They put it in a dish and they inject the NK cell and leave some cancer tissue, and it shows you that the NK cell knows how to find and destroy the cancer tissue.
Yeah, interesting, and I'm sure that our viewers, and especially the one who got like some kind of hopeless situation with their cancer case, they got like hope for this kind of treatment.
Yes, I would only like to say that cancer is a funny disease.
Funny disease.
Because
Why?
if you have belief and hope, sometimes the body can fight, even without the NK. But this NK will help destroy and help the body manage the cancer far, far better.
Serious? So the mental
State in the United States, most of it is mentioned like that. My first few patients, it did not come from Malaysia. It did not come from our part of the world. It came from the Middle East. And the Middle East sends their patients to Johns Hopkins. And the doctors in Johns Hopkins says, find this NK cell, find this CAR T cell. And they search, and that's how they came to me. Because when all has failed, in cancer you have the primary, the first line, and then the second year they do what they call maintenance. Maintenance means that they will try and extend this 1-year procedure, and if that fails, after 2 years of chemo, then only they will be willing to let them try the cell therapy. So a question that came to me was, why can't I start from word go? Why not, if I get early stage, why don't I do it? My philosophy is you should try the chemo first, but if some people don't want to try chemo, they have to write me a letter and sign it says, I refuse to do chemo. Then and only then I can accept.
I see.
Because I think that they should follow the medical guideline and go with the chemo first. But then some patients refuse chemo anyway. You know,
The percentage of patient that success, how many so far already?
it depends on the kind of patients.
Uh-huh.
Some came very late. That means they sometimes have only a few weeks left,
Yeah.
and we cannot save those.
Oh.
So we have range from, depending on the type of cancers and how late, 70% to as high as 90. So different cancer type, different stage has different performance.
Okay. Due to the limited of the time constraint, I would like to ask about the Cambodia case. What do you want? Like, what are the things that you can do in Cambodia in order to have the patient with cancer to be like hopeful for their case?
There are two approach.
Okay.
One is to bring them down to Malaysia
Okay.
for treatment. They could be taken care of in the university hospital or some of the private hospitals.
Okay.
But a preferred approach is if the government can allow us to move the cell into Cambodia, and we can work with some clinics or hospital to allow that treatment. And we are not asking to prepare it here, but we'll prepare everything, we'll ship the finished product, and you just apply. So it is a simple process. So if that was the case, then of course you will be able to reach more people in Cambodia. Yeah.
Mention the approaches to the viewers already, and hope for me myself, I like the second approach.
Yes, because cancer is a very traumatic disease, and you don't want to be away from the family.
Yeah. Okay.
So putting it in Cambodia, I think, is a far better approach. At least the family can still be here to support the patient.
Angie, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it and really interesting for me myself. I just don't want to finish the interview. Actually, I got lots of questions to ask you more, but well, I hope you come again next time.
It will be my pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.